Hey,
Hello.
Hey.
and
Hello,
we're
everybody.
here for part 2 of Jonestown Flavor Aid.
Let's
All right.
I am Hexus Diamond. This is Akia Diamond. That is Raz T Slasher and Delphine filling in for Mother de la Mort.
Hello.
She's off buying a horse and buggy today or something.
One of those things.
happy holidays, everybody.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Unless you're in
Oh, it's-
Nebraska where you can't celebrate, so
Why can't you celebrate?
it's
I mean,
not
you
legal.
can,
You
but
can.
Yeah. Legalities.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. I've moved my annual 420 feed to Saturday, which makes it not 420, but I'm gonna combine 420 and Earth Day. Let's just say that.
There you go.
actually, that's nice. Actually,
We'll combine. So this year, instead of doing one of our logos, might be something different.
nice.
A little bit of tree with a little bit of tree, you know.
I don't.
yeah.
I just don't when it comes to holidays like this. I'm like, I don't know. Like on St. Patrick's Day, I purposely go out and buy Scottish beers.
right.
And tell them all fuck off.
I
green
liked
beers.
Simbu's reaction to my post yesterday. Shouldn't you be putting out like, I don't know, 19 crimes and I forget what else you said. I was like,
Oh, for what?
I should put out like the 19 crimes wine with his picture on it.
Yeah.
Oh, those
Have
things
you
are
ever done
neat.
the thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
I always
I
download the app when we're at Albertsons or wherever they
we
sell
have
it,
like a bunch of the bottles.
and I'll like
nice.
scan them to see the whatever. But then the minute we leave Albertsons, I delete the app because I was like, I'm never going to do this again. And then every time I go there again,
I do that with a couple places too.
I bought them once for family for Christmas. Like every different family got a different bottle. So then I was like, but check this out. And I just let them use my phone and pass it around. You know, and they're all like,
oh man. There was something I was going to bring up, and I totally forgot what it was. It was wrestling related. I like completely forgot. I'm not
There
even
goes
stoned.
the feed.
and
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry that I
Actually,
cut you
a
off.
little bit
You were still talking about it. So
I've been in a little bit of a wrestling information blackout because just with the moves and just everything else going on.
I know I'm not exactly happy with how they're doing things with Cody Rhodes right now, but nor am I. It's like they're doing more of the same stuff. You know,
Yeah.
like it's all, you got to go through your paces, and you got to get beaten up by Brock Lesnar now. You'll be lucky to get a pin on him, but he might change his creative at the very last second on there. I know. I was like,
Hey, man, all the greatest faces have gone through this in the history of the WWE, WWF. I mean, even Hogan had his time with Andre.
I don't know. Hogan, that's a little different.
I'm just saying, every major face has had their big struggle, and I think this just is, and I think it's gonna end well. I think it's all gonna turn out like.
I think it's
by the time it
gonna end
gets
well.
there.
I think it definitely is going to end well. It's like oh man, it's more of the same. Come on, man, just a lot of people. I have looked into it. One of the main reasons why Drew McIntyre is leaving, or he's looking to leave WWE, because he hasn't re-upped his contract, is the fact they're leaving that Universal title on Roman Reigns, and no one else can really get it right now. I was like, I do agree with the WWE draft with what they're doing right now. Hopefully, that's when they're going to really. Huh?
I'm excited about the draft. I love drafts, man. Them doing that is fucking awesome.
I think they're going to finally. I'm hoping they give I'm really hoping at least to give the Universal title to Cody Rhodes and then split it up, not split it up before, but
that makes sense. Yeah,
we'll see. So,
hi, Calvin.
Calvin, what's up? So, just to let everyone know that this is the podcast, the audio side of things, and we will get the comments when you guys pay us, like always. I'm thinking.
I meant to put that in the the private chat, but
The
yeah.
one right below RBR.
There's like 1,000 of them.
Are we on? No, we should be on.
So
Hey,
Dad,
everybody.
to answer your question.
I'd say it in stereo, but like that's just.
To answer
That's
your question,
awesome.
it's the one right below Roots Bleed Red.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. And guys, if you didn't know,
You do
You
know
can see us in all of these places.
right below Roots Bleed Red. Just thought you all should know. You know, we got Roots Bleed Red on YouTube, the PBDC Collective Inc. on YouTube, the PBDC Collective on Twitch, Roots Bleed Red on Facebook, the PBDC Collective twice on Facebook, and Channel 9, which is a mildly hidden one, but it's not all that hidden. Have fun trying to find it, though.
We are in no way affiliated with Hydra.
Nope.
I should say that.
Hey, oh, Hydra.
So, I guess we should get
Go
started. Here.
Shield.
Shield.
I'm
reading Ultimate Universe. Sorry.
This show is brought to you by Flavor Aid.
So I'll this goes with cults, I guess. So I will tell the story. I have protested against Westboro Baptist Church about 3 or 4 times, and to be fair, 2 of them was in one day in just 2 different locations.
Still count.
Oh, 4 times, but yeah. So one of them was they came to my town in Tennessee and they were protesting the funeral of a soldier. And the family put out word that they heard they were coming. Because one of the things that Westboro does, and we could talk about them too. One of the things that Westboro does is they get all the right licensing to do it. They go through all the legal channels, and even though people don't want to grant them, they can't grant them based on the fact that they don't like them. So they're granted. So what they do is they try to get people to hit them so that they can sue them, because a lot of them within there are lawyers. And so instead of protesting signs or whatever, the family said to us, or said to everybody in like the call out, that they want just blank white paper, and they would like for us to surround the church and face the blank white towards Westboro. So that was the first time I got to protest against them. One of the other times was when Jeff Hanneman died. And the other one, which is probably my favorite because I made more interesting signs, was there's a man named Robert Schuler who passed away. He was the pastor for the Crystal Cathedral here in Orange County in Garden Grove. Now, one of the things about Robert Schuler is that he was very pro everybody. And that's one of the things that Westboro hated about him. He was like, you're gay? Come on in. You're trans? Come on in. You're on the streets on drugs? Come on in, let's help you.
I thought the Crystal Cathedral was the one that's like all see-through.
So the Crystal Cathedral itself is a basically a monument, but the Crystal Cathedral is a church. And I've seen, so they do the nativity thing. And when I was a kid, they would walk live camels down the middle of the church and have the full nativity thing. Like they would do, like, right.
Like,
but it was
camel shit all day.
It was one of the coolest things I can remember from being a kid, was being seated in these pews, and you look and these freaking camels are walking down. Hi, Devoodoo Queen.
Hello, Jenny.
Hello, Jenny. Hello. Sorry, I saw that. But watching camels walk down the aisle of a church So Robert Schuller was very famous for being super accepting. Okay. So Westboro showed up and they protested Anaheim High School, saying that they promote sodomy, and basically it was because of the sex ed program that they have at the high school. And they were saying that they promote sodomy because instead of saying abstinence, they say condoms, birth control. Instead of assuming everybody is going to not stick dicks in people, they were logical about it and said, okay, this is how you protect yourself. And so they showed up and they protested a high school. And
great use of their time.
it was literally because it was before the funeral. So they showed up to protest the high school first, and then they moved on to Garden Grove to protest the funeral. And the cool thing is they let the kids come out to a certain point, and it was like blocked off, and teachers were out there and security was out there keeping the kids safe and behind a partition, but they were allowed to have signs and protest and stuff like that. So that was fun for them, I'm sure. But
their art teacher had a blast.
Right,
hey, everybody, let's
go signs. So I had a sign that said "All Hail Megatron."
Love it.
My friend had a sign that said "Hail Hydra." Like, we worked hard on these things too. Like, I had the Decepticon symbol. She had the Hydra, And then somebody gave us markers.
Oh shit! Never a good idea, because then you get the situational comedy,
Well, so on the back of hers, I put "Gay or straight, we all masturbate." And this is when we got down to like the funeral part where they were protesting, and we didn't do that like at the high school
because it's much more appropriate at a pastor's funeral. So
people were like redoing the backs of their signs, and so my other one just said "Slayer hates you."
That's exactly why signs got banned for a while, unless they were approved at wrestling events, because people would take in markers and they'd leave one side blank. So to this day, you cannot take in a sign that's not double-sided.
Did you see?
Can you peel it apart?
No, did you see what happened with Was it at a
corn?
It was WrestleMania. Someone was saying they were trying to make a big deal about a security guard taking away one of their signs, and it was something derogatory about Rhea Ripley.
It was
like it was bad. It was like, and people were like, "Oh my god, they're taking away my sign." I was like, "Look what you said right there."
Yeah, they started that wouldn't even in the 90s late 80s and the beginning of the 90s, because people were taking in the markers and one side would be blank, and they would write offensive messages to like people they knew.
Yeah,
it was almost never geared towards the wrestlers, but that's when the phrase "Hogan sucks donkey balls" became super popular, because one of those signs made it onto a live event.
Or what Akio just said was Goldberg eats corn the long ways. I still laugh my ass off at that. But that was not as bad as what someone put on here, and it was like,
I didn't see it.
It was like, dude, look, even in the Attitude Era, that what someone was saying about Rhea Ripley was like, it was like really distasteful.
Well, somebody the other day posted, I don't know what all the hype is about her. I'm all, because she's a fucking badass and hot.
She's a great wrestler. I mean, and
she's able to go up against the dudes toe to toe, no problem.
Oh, that's what I was gonna bring up, was the whole thing with the Miz. I was like thinking about it. I was like, you know what, the Miz actually really does need. He really is the face of WWE. He's done everything right. He's literally been safe the entire time.
Of the WWE.
He's one of the best wrestlers of all time. And almost got ran off by Crispin Wall and JBL.
Yep.
Like, and luckily, like the Undertaker was like, "No, dude, you can come back in the locker room." But
sorry, to bring it back to the protest. One last thing, talking about cults and protesting. So Fred
Durst.
No.
That's what I was thinking.
Fred Durst.
It's Tinoco in my hometown.
Fred Durst.
Fred Phelps.
Hold on.
Flintstone.
Fred Hearn, owner of Hell's Dungeon.
Fred Phelps. I think you were actually right.
I know.
I think you were actually right. So okay.
You were right for once, Texas. Holy
So
shit.
Fred Phelps was dead already at this point. Okay. And he hadn't died that much like before this. But his daughter Shirley was there.
Surely you must be joking.
I was about to say that.
I'm not joking, and don't call me Shirley.
Like, we just keep waiting for the other person to pick it up just in case. But
So the best part was getting close enough to where you're not touching her. And you're not you're not really in her personal space. And going, hey baby, come on. You know you want to know what it's like.
I thought you were gonna say I'm not touching you.
No. We full on started hitting on her. Because she hates gays.
Right.
So we were like, oh, come on, just once. You know you want to. You know, nobody's this angry about it unless they have those kinds of thoughts.
What's the Pringles phrase? Once you pop, you can't stop. I was for that earlier too.
The only one I know is about spaghetti. Because, spaghetti is straight until you get it wet.
I think, so there was another girl that was from Anonymous. She was wearing the Guy Fawkes mask and everything.
Well,
that was with me.
She wouldn't be too anonymous if she wasn't.
No, I know, but she was. They had Anonymous was
hiding
out there
in plain sight.
But yeah, a lot of Anonymous was out there, and they were super cool, by the way. But she was doing it with me, and she was saying even worse stuff. Like, we were just basically tag teaming saying this, and she'd turn around and be like, you guys are disgusting, and we're like, we'll show you how we could be disgusting. Like, we just kept
not with that one. I'm
fucking
sorry.
with her. Like,
she is so gross looking.
She's disgusting, don't get me wrong, but the fact that we knew that it bothered her, we just couldn't help it.
Should just walked up to her nice shoes.
So basically, touching people wasn't okay, but sexual harassment, we're good. I'm joking.
They were screaming, God hates, you know.
I know the fucked up shit they say, yeah.
Yeah, they were screaming all these horrible things. So why not walk up to her and be like, nobody's this angry about this unless they have tendencies that they're trying to hide.
Yep.
Like, why do you hate us? Is it because you want to be us?
I just totally threw my light right off the desk.
It's cool. It's cool. Now it just looks like you're in an even creepier dungeon.
When I was digging around for it, I turned off because I finally realized you guys probably hear all these plastic bags.
I didn't hear it.
Oh, okay.
The only thing I hear is your angry Filipino typing, like my Filipino ex-boss.
I stopped it earlier because I was like, and I'm like,
it sounds like the old hard copy. You remember the old hard copy ball that would come out and then go away in the commercials or whatever it was?
So I know we aren't exactly promoting these, but this is a Focusrite Scarlett Studio setup microphone.
Nice.
And it picks up every single thing that I do, apparently. So if you guys are
looking, hear it, honestly.
But but you have to be careful because it doesn't have a directional thing on it, so it picks up everything that you're doing or that's going on in your apartment. Just a warning, guys. It has benefits, pros, cons going on. But this is my
neighbors.
Happy 420. Go get skunked.
Yay!
Well, speaking of
all of that for that.
I'm just waiting for the edible to kick in.
Let's just go ahead and get into the People's Temple aspect of the cult.
I know I said it earlier, but now that there's actually people in here, I mean, 4 of you, all 4 of you, hello.
You smell the drink that Jones is mixing. Sorry.
Right?
You should have gotten him Kool-Aid.
Our cult uses cake, not Flavor Aid. Vice, where are you? It's rumored that if you say cake 3 times in a mirror with the lights off, that vice versa will come through the mirror at you. And
I tried this 2 nights ago, and she made me sign an NDA, so I can't talk about it.
And she'll start screaming Red Velvet.
Yeah. There's icing involved, but it's not what you think.
What if you put
I would totally sign up and eat the cake.
Right?
If Vice was head in a cult. Oh.
Right. I gotta tag her.
Tag her with everybody.
Tag her. And I'll repeat myself when she comes in. All right, so let's get into this. We left off talking about Jim Jones, and now we're going to be talking about the People's Temple.
Yep. And to catch you guys up, Jim Jones is a guy whose name is Jim Jones. There you go. You're caught up.
And we got to tell little Jimmy jokes about him last time.
Little Jimmy jokes? Oh.
Yeah. And we discussed his boxing career.
Yeah.
And
the Jimmy jokes were completely inaccurate, though.
And the ice cream.
Huge wiener.
Yeah.
I mean, there was also the ice cream. Karan!
You know what we forgot to bring up last time? Jim Jones was bisexual.
Which is still interesting to me.
Jim Jones, actually, the People's Temple didn't, they wouldn't marry same-sex, they wouldn't have same-sex marriages, but the People's Temple was actually very accepting of
orgies.
The People's Temple was very accepting of gay people and stuff like that. They would actually let a lot of them come in the early days. There was actually one story of one of the guys actually coming in later on when they moved on to Eureka.
Phrasing.
And he really actually, Jim Jones actually said this to the guy when he was actually first meeting him. He's saying whatever. He's all, we do this, this, and this. And if you need me to, I'll fuck you in the ass. And the guy's like, no, I'm good.
Are you sure?
Oh, it won't tag. How sad. But yeah.
Oh, that's in Twitch. Okay,
so,
hold on. I'm gonna angry
tag people in Twitch.
Go ahead and get the notes up here and get into this.
I have the notes, but I'm tagging Vice. Boom, baby.
Hear it. Order me some McDonald's.
And tell Karan to get in here.
Okay, you tag. I wasn't.
Okay.
I went off.
So,
yeah,
we're gonna start. What?
Oh, you were talking about he was very accepting.
Yes, he was.
That was one of those things where it was like, what a bunch of racists! Everybody is welcome here. Come on, we'll take everyone. We'll take everyone.
Yeah, basically, it's like, what a bunch of racists! What a bunch of bigots! Like, fuck all these people. Join me.
Yeah.
And
it was a redeeming quality that Jim Jones had.
Well, it's even coming down to
it was a manipulation ploy.
Yeah, but
early on, I don't know. I mean, it was, and it was. I mean, he was very much narcissistic from the start, narcissist from the start. But it's one of those things that if he would have never left to Brazil, Brazil first. He went to Brazil first, and then Guyana. That's what the whole Guyana thing started because he took off the Brazil. Huh?
Wasn't it because Brazil basically they got there and like, we can't do shit with this area.
Was there for, well, it wasn't exactly like he was trying to do stuff there. It was just they went there to live and try to start up something, but they were there for about 2 years, and then everything crumbled apart on the American side. And then when he saw that he was losing control of that's when he rushed back to America. And that's also when he got back, that's also when he really changed, because it was the whole thing like in the last episode where he didn't like losing control, and he did not like people leaving him without him saying he was done.
That was the whole point of him not wanting to participate in sports, was because he couldn't handle losing.
Yeah.
But he'll coach all day long.
Oh. Yeah. It's crazy that with Brazil, because he tried that shit in Guatemala, but the kids were not having it.
Yeah.
Somebody got holes poked in them.
I actually do. I want to say they did look at Guatemala and other South American countries.
They actually did. I was just adding that in. It's a 2-for-1 joke. I'm a stone, so I'm not gonna get them when I can.
Another thing too, when you guys do see the People's Temple, that's not grammatically incorrect. The way there's no apostrophe in People's Temple, because that shows ownership, and this was supposed to be like a socialist,
communist.
Same difference. No. That's why they didn't put the comma there.
Mostly, but no. So yeah. But yeah, no, I get it.
Let's go ahead and get into this.
For communists. It's a literary. Yeah, I'm gonna stop right there. I just realized.
So, In early 1952, Jones announced that to his wife and her family that he would become a Methodist minister, believing the church was ready to put real socialism into practice. Jones was surprised when a Methodist district superintendent helped him to get a start in the church, even though it was known that Jones was a communist. In the summer of 1952, Jones was hired on as a student pastor to the children at Somerset Southside Methodist Church, where he launched a project to create a playground that would be open for children of all races. Jones continued to visit and speak at Pentecostal churches while serving as a Methodist student pastor. In early 1954, Jones was dismissed from his position at the Methodist Church, ostensibly for stealing church funds. Though he later claimed he left the church because its leaders forbade him from integrating Black people into his congregation.
I do believe that's the reason why he really left. I don't think he was stealing. The guy literally went door to door selling monkeys, no joke, for the People's Temple.
Yeah.
So I don't think he was stealing. He went door to door selling spider monkeys for the People's Temple.
He really did.
Wait, what?
Really, really did.
He, as shitty of a person as he was not racist by any means. And I do believe that he would have left the church
totally happy to make everyone who is of all different races drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah, basically. But I totally do believe that he was not stealing.
No. Yeah.
I mean, he could have been. Huh?
I'm just bummed out now because I did not live in a place where someone sold monkeys door to door, and I feel like I missed out on
this went on throughout the 50s like that. He actually was a door to door monkey salesman.
Hey, if he passes business on anyone else that might be listening, I'll buy a monkey. I mean, just deal with me.
Well, I mean,
I will accept a capuchin.
With inflation, I think they were like roughly like $240 back then.
That's it for a monkey, $240.
Well, that's back then.
No, I'm gonna time travel. I have a whole plan. Don't worry. That's the time travel stop.
We need you to help us get some people across here, depending on how far we go.
Ron in here, by the way.
Hey, Ron.
Hey, Ron.
Natasha.
What's up?
Hello.
Queen. All right. So from this point forward, I will abstain from doing comments for a while. Okay.
I'm going to take over.
Place your bets.
Oh, no. I'm just saying that I'm not going to bring up any comments for a little while.
After this one.
Okay, after this one. Yeah. Under no circumstances am I owning a monkey again. Just nope.
Yeah, no,
because of the again, that one had to hop up in there.
Yeah, I was like, okay, after this one. After this, Jenny. After this.
I'm seeing monkey shots. I know what's up.
I'm sorry.
There was somebody who was. I'm sorry.
I will never own. I don't know how people do it or why they want to do it, but chimps and all this other stuff, especially because when they snap,
oh god,
they eat your face and testicles.
Face
they tear up your genitalia first and then go after your face.
Man, when I was on tour with the band, we had one of our people that would always, they weren't quite a roadie. They just chilled and hung out. Him and his woman owned a lemur, and they'd bring it around all the time. That thing was chill as hell.
Zaboomafoo!
Did it leap?
Oh yeah,
Did a leaping lemur?
One side, it was cool. Yeah,
of course. So he's all, they go for your genitals. My brain's all, show me your genitals. Show me genitalia.
I almost bought a monkey once, but I was talking, and the guy who was going to sell, he had to make sure he had a big enough property because he had a little house for it and then a gateway that it could come into your house. So you'd set that up by if you had a back door. And oh my god,
the monkey would come through your back.
Both of us saw it at the same time.
The monkey would come through your back door.
Okay. Yeah, but it had its own house.
Yeah,
I was going to say that I'm not stoned enough for this, but no, I think I'm exactly stoned enough for this.
It snapped and went after Grandma. I don't mean to laugh.
I hope your grandma was okay.
Right now in my head.
You're phrasing.
Grandma okay?
You're phrasing.
I don't mean to laugh, but
Oh, did you see? Okay, so on a random note again, real fast. When you go and watch the movie Nope, someone actually did interpret what the chimp was saying. And what happened was it was the balloon that's if you've seen the movie Nope, there's a part where this chimp just mauls these people in a taping in a studio setting. And what happened was is a birthday balloon pops and it snaps and just kills people and rips their faces off and stuff like that. Well, then the monkey
Spoiler
comes
alert.
back. Like he comes back to consciousness. And he is like
And
literally
he's like,
he knows in there that it knows sign languages and it's saying what happened. Why are they all bloody? What's going on? And I was like, holy shit. I was like, the detail on that with what's his face did
I
is it
fucking
Peel?
yeah.
Jordan.
See, I would
It-
have been able to read that because I'm like, sign
Nope is a
language.
crazy movie. It was such a good movie. There were aspects of it that I kind of wish I feel like there were things taken out, you know? But like I
I
loved
like
it.
I like the movie better without the creature aspect. I actually liked it better. Like the story that was being told, the way everything was done, I was more interested in that than the overall point of the movie.
No,
Or
I
the
liked
overall
that
theme
they finally went further than just, hey, this is what it is.
Yeah.
They just went because a lot of times in that kind of without spoiling too much,
I haven't
like
seen it.
a lot of times in that style of movie, they go, this is the bad guy. And
Yeah.
then they just kind of leave it at that. And it works in those movies. You're like, oh shit, that's the bad guy. But they took it a step further and went, not only is this the bad guy, but we're going to show you more about the bad guy that you've never seen before.
Well, the crazy thing is this is one of those movies too where you could actually spoil the shit out of it and actually makes it a little bit better because going
There's too
in
many
with an
layers.
understanding of it, what it
I'm not
is
spoiling it though.
going in with what the understanding of what it is, you actually know more about it. You're like, cool, this is actually neat to watch now because it makes a lot more sense opposed to it. But the crazy thing with the movie is when you do get to the end of it, you're like, oh, I get it.
Yep.
It's not one of those things that's out there, you know.
The
I
problem
liked
with it was marketed extremely poorly. That's why it didn't get the ratings it should have gotten because it was marketed as a 100% comedy horror. All the original marketing for a long time, and that's not what it was at all. I mean, it had
It was
parts,
hilarious to me.
but it wasn't actually a comedy horror. It was a lot more serious than what it had been billed because they just showed a couple ridiculous moments and all the original trailers and promotions. So a lot of people went into it. They gave it bad reviews because they were expecting not what it was billed at. It was just how they made the trailers. It was kind of leading, but the movie itself was pretty good. I liked it.
I
Yeah.
liked it quite a bit.
All right, we scrolled off enough. We got to get.
All right,
I'm gonna
let's-
finish my little squirrel moment. The only thing that was left with the squirrel with the
Oh,
monkey
yeah.
being able to get in your house. So because I called this guy because he was like $500 for a monkey and its enclosure and everything, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
what's going on? And I think it was kind of
You're
that
like,
he was getting too old to take care of the monkey.
Okay.
So he was trying to pass it on to like people who would still be alive when the monkey, needed him. But I was like, okay, well, what kinds of things? And I was living in this weird little commune kind of place. We were like, well, we could like,
I drank flavor.
adopt this monkey together. And like, I'm like, I know sign language and we could work on teaching it sign language and everything.
you're all,
And I'm like, so what does it eat and stuff? And they're like, oh, yeah.
It's one of those, we're friends, but are we adopting a monkey
I
together?
help.
But yeah, so the guy was talking, he's like, well, he has to have cable because he watches these certain shows and he
Was
pretty
one of
much
them
lives off
Zaboomafoo?
of Totino. No. he pretty much lives off of Totino's pizzas. And so it's like, that is a ruined
Not
monkey.
healthy.
Yeah, that's I don't want your like cable TV and pizza addicted monkey. That's not a fun monkey. That's a chore monkey.
I think it's probably better to have the cable addicted, pizza addicted monkey opposed to the one that wants to live in the wild that's gonna rip your face off. Monkey.
Then the grandma attacking monkey. I'm sorry, Jenny. I'm sorry.
Quick moment. Monkey shines. Okay. I'm gonna go back up.
Yeah.
That movie. That
Okay,
fun.
we really
Since
need
we're
to get
talking
into
about
this.
this,
Yeah.
yes, they are very interesting. I love his movies. I like I like where his brain
back.
goes, considering that it started off with Key and Peele being a straight up comedy duo, and now he's ventured off into these horror movies. And I'm really liking all the stuff he's making.
Oh yeah.
I think it's really good. It's well thought out, and even the ones that aren't exactly as well thought out as they could be still makes sense and you have fun.
Yeah.
And
All
I'm
right.
sorry, I had the squirrel beating me up. He's getting in a couple jabs there. I let a lot of the squirreling off. So
no worries. So, okay. Believing that the racially integrated and rapidly growing latter rain movement offered him a greater opportunity to become a preacher, Jones successfully convinced his wife to leave the Methodist Church and join the Pentecostals. In 1953, Jones began attending and preaching at the Laurel Street Tabernacle in Indianapolis, a Pentecostal Assemblies of God church. Jones held healing revivals there until 1955 and began to travel and speak at other churches in the latter rain movement. He was a guest speaker at a convention in 1953 in Detroit. The Assemblies of God was strongly opposed to the latter rains movement, actually. And in 1955, they assigned a new pastor to the Laurel Street Tabernacle who enforced their denominational ban on healing revivals. This led Jones to leave and establish Wings of Healing, a new church that would later be named the People's Temple. Dun, dun, dun. Jones's new church attracted only about 20 members who had come with him from the Laurel Street Tabernacle. I want to say hi to people, but I'm in mid.
I'll just flash them up so we.
Yes. Hi. Okay.
we can put up highs without having to actually say it. We can just wave.
We can get the comments, in a little bit. So
I can't help it. I can't help it when I see people come in. So he only brought over about 20 people. And he was not able to financially support his vision. So he saw a need for publicity and began seeking a way to popularize his ministry and recruit members. So Jones began to closely associate with the Independent Assemblies of God, an international group of churches which embraced the latter rain movement. So the Independent Assemblies of God, or the IAOG, rather, had a few requirements for ordained ministers, and they were also accepting of divine healing practices. In June of 1955, Jones held his first joint meeting with William Branham, a healing evangelist and Pentecostal leader in the global healing revival. And in 1956, Jones was ordained as a minister through Independent Assemblies of God by Joseph Madsen Bowes, a leader in the latter rain movement and the Independent Assemblies of God. Jones quickly rose to prominence in the group and organized and hosted a healing convention to take place on June 11th through June 15th in 1956. And this was at Cadle Tabernacle in Indianapolis. And so needing a well-known figure to draw crowds, he arranged to share the pulpit again with Branham, who again was the person who brought him into this movement. And he's a healing evangelist and a Pentecostal leader for the healing revivals. So these are the kind of people that, like, at least William Branham and Joseph Madsen Bowes are the kind of people that you would see like in the tents, and doing the be healed type stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, he's walking. That kind of stuff,
Healed.
The healed. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I sort of want to go to one of them just to check them out, to see it.
I think Fletch covers that pretty nicely.
My mother's old boss, who is like the chief medical officer at or medical director at a place where she works, so like super high education, everything. His small town, the church that he attended when he was a kid, they had snake handlers. And when he would go back to visit home, one of those churches, he was like, he'd go back to church and they were like doing the whole snake thing. So it was like,
it's really interesting to watch. It really is.
I did it. Okay, so I took classes on religion anthropology. It was religion, witchcraft, and all that stuff for anthropology. And one of the things that we learned about was the snake handler churches. Those are we watched these videos, like tons of different videos of various ones. It's crazy. I mean, I'm not look, if you guys believe in this, I am not talking crap by any means. I want to go. I want to go check it out. Like, I want to watch this shit in real life.
The snake handler churches tend to be a little not nice to people.
Yeah, I know.
Like, they're also crazy as fuck. I will say that. I'm sorry. No, when your whole life is literally handling snakes and stuff like that and speaking in tongues, it's like you're possibly schizophrenic here.
Well, to be fair, there are various denominations that believe in speaking in tongues and stuff like that as well. But the snake handling ones are their own. Their own.
Technically, we all speak.
By the way, I've all said hi to each other back and forth in case you can't see each other saying hi.
Hello, each other. Hi, everybody.
And sorry, I went up on snake handling.
No, you're totally fine. And because it goes in with it, the Voodoo Queen says, "Watch out! If you're naughty, they're allowed to whoop your butt in front of the whole church."
And what?
In those revival churches and the snake handling churches and stuff like that, they're very, very hands-on.
God, I would fuck so many people up there. I would literally break their faces if they try to touch me.
Well, one of the things that
like, oh, hey, go ahead. God can heal you, right? I mean, I'm sorry that you're laying on the ground bloody because you tried to spank me.
One of the things I thought was interesting when I was learning about the snake handling thing was basically that they believe that if the snake bites you, because they're venomous snakes a lot of times.
Jesus
if the
will
snake
save
bites
you.
you, no, it's not even that. It's that it's retribution for something that you did. If you die from it, that's why. Yep. But if they bite you and you survive, well,
you've been resolved.
Yeah. So I thought that was very interesting. Like, I thought that was totally interesting, and I'm like, look, I just want to go be a fly on the wall. I really do. Just once. There's so many things I'd love to experience that, like, I probably wouldn't be allowed in. You know?
Yeah.
But I would love to just witness them.
Oh yeah.
I have more things that I have witnessed that a lot of people haven't, but I'd love to go witness more. All right, so Branham was known to tell attendees their name, address, and why they came for prayer before pronouncing them healed. Jones was intrigued by Branham's methods and began performing the same feats. Jones and Branham's meetings were very successful, and attracted an audience of about 11,000 at their first joint campaign. At the convention, Branham issued a prophetic endorsement of Jones and his ministry, saying that God used the convention to send forth a new great ministry. I don't think that was God.
Well, and a lot of times what they did
was San Diego Comic-Con.
I was gonna say Pomona BotCon, but you know,
that works too.
How many people did you say showed up in their joint thing?
11,000.
I thought that for that time, with advertising and like right now, that's nothing. But to get that many people to show up and into a place,
first event,
that's ridiculous.
Too. Yeah. So many attendees believe that Jones's performance indicated that he possessed a supernatural gift. And coupled with Branham's endorsement, it led to rapid growth of People's Temple. Jones was particularly effective at recruitment among the African American attendees at the conventions. According to a newspaper report, regular attendance at People's Temple swelled to 1,000 thanks to the publicity. Branham provided to Jones and the People's Temple. Following the convention, Jones renamed his church the People's Temple Christian Church Full Gospel to associate it with Full Gospel Pentecostalism. The name was later shortened back over to People's Temple. Jones participated in a series of multi-state revival campaigns with Branham. In the second half of the 50s, they toured. Like they did like a revival tour.
Right. Yeah, it was straight up. It was weird.
He was on tour, yo.
He went on tour.
They became a cover band. The first song they ever learned how to play actually on tour was Mr. Jones and Me. I'm trying not to sing that song.
So Oprah, a healing for you, and you're healed, and you're healed, and you're healed.
Have you guys seen the Elvis movie?
Yeah.
Okay, one of the things that I like that they did, and it's true, one of the things he was inspired by was having gone to some of those revivals. Not Jim Jones's revivals, but
that'd be a shame.
But like the revival tents, and he was inspired because he was not living in what would be considered the best part of town, and he was inspired by the music around him from the African American community that he was living amongst.
Mm-hmm.
And he also, a revival had come to town, and there's actually a scene in that Elvis movie that was rad to see, was him going and just really getting into it.
Oh yeah.
And it was showing how it really influenced his music.
He's the entire reason why my legal middle name is Aaron, because that was his name. It was also the name of his twin that didn't make it. And my family hugely obsessed with Elvis. I did a little bit of time as an Elvis impersonator, actually, once upon a time.
I still need pictures of this.
I don't believe in Elvis.
Elvis believes in you.
I've told y'all my conspiracy theory. I don't believe in Elvis.
I'm sorry. You said that, and so somebody who no longer works with me, one day, standing next to me, looked at me and said, "I don't believe in gay people." And
what does that have to do with Elvis?
I just busted up laughing.
What the?
Because I was all, well, they believe in you.
I don't believe in oxygen.
My response was, they believe in you.
I don't believe in pants.
Well, they believe in you.
How do you know? There's a reason you only see this picture of me on.
There's a reason you only see
t-shirt
him here.
You get disturbed this week. Yay!
Woo! All right.
Nicktoons. My Ren and Stimpy.
I saw the Ren and Stimpy. I'm not going to show off what I'm wearing because I have no bra on.
Boobs.
It's
Aki's wearing boobs.
Yeah, I'm wearing boobs right now. That's about it.
It's a spring.
I guess if I stand up, we might get more viewers. I don't know. But then we'll get kicked off Facebook too.
Yeah.
So one of the things that like Jim Jones was actually really, really good at these revivals and stuff like that, it was sending people in beforehand, and when he was going around meeting people and stuff, he would actually listen to them for their ailments and stuff like that. He would. He also started really looking at the faith healing side of things, and no joke, they would actually just do the whole chicken gizzard thing too, where they would actually act like they're ripping that out of people, the cancers and stuff like that. They would actually to some of their plants and stuff like that. They would actually have them eat chicken intestines and stuff like that. Way, when they would actually say, "Oh my god," when he was healing them, it was obviously a plant. It wasn't some random person. They would start throwing it up and like act like they're being healed and everything like that. Like,
I'd throw it up too.
But it was crazy because when you look at what he
salmonella.
What he wanted to do with the People's Temple, and like I said, he was good in certain things, but then you go and see this, it was pretty fucking terrible.
Oh, yeah. One of my personal heroes, Andy Kaufman, went through something very similar in his life. He got diagnosed with cancer, and it was a healer like this, and it was like a line of people, and he got up and he saw how the whole thing was done. and realized that's when he pretty much realized that he was going to die. He was done.
Did you see how how Jim Carrey acted with Jerry the King Lawler?
Yeah.
Oh my god, dude! I did not. I was like, I saw Man on the Moon, and
Natasha,
I originally
yes.
thought that like Jerry the King Lawler and him worked well together. And like the first minute that Jerry the King Lawler went on there or the set, he Jim Carrey got weird with him, started acting like an ass to him.
There's a reason. It was on purpose.
It was on purpose, but Jerry the King Lawler was even saying, he's like, I didn't know this, you
Yeah.
know, and it really hurt their relationship, like how they did things. And then like when because he did say something to him or something like that, and like Jim Carrey had to go and have the director go and explain to him, and like it's like Jerry the King Lawler was practically best friends with Andy Kaufman. I was like, you should try to get along with them, you know.
Yeah, I do agree with you there. Yeah,
If
that's a
anybody's
once a
watching,
year movie for me at least.
Yeah.
As far as the way that they were figuring out what was with everybody, if anybody's interested in it, there's a movie called Red Lights. It's about psychics doing the same thing instead of healing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the
It's got
fishing.
Sigourney Weaver, Robert De Niro, Cillian Murphy, Elizabeth Olsen, Toby Jones. It's
I
fabulous.
like
But
Cillian Murphy.
my mom thinks he's terrifying because she couldn't remember that he played the Scarecrow. And then when I pointed that out, she's like, oh, yeah, that's why he's creepy. Okay, he's fine now because I can picture him without the makeup off. Do you want to watch Peaky Blinders? I'm like, well, yeah.
I love Peaky Blinders.
There's a really cool documentary about how Jonathan Edwards does his whole thing, or did the whole crossing over with John Edwards.
Yeah.
I think it was called South Park, the documentary, and the episode was called "Biggest Douchebag in the Universe."
It was, and it was so accurate too, though. It was funny as hell, but it was accurate beyond anything. Like just how they.
It starts with a P. He was born. It was warm outside when he was born.
I'm getting a feeling. I'm getting a message that
God,
there was a
once had
grandfather. I'm
those.
getting a message that a grandfather got sick at some point, and then like you literally have people going, "My
He worked
grandfather
with his
got
hands.
sick." Yeah.
But
he used to use his hands for things.
But the way they would get very specific information was they had a crowd of people that would just be walking around and like talking to each other, but getting close to other conversations that were going on. And they'd be like, you know, like, oh, I really hope that Grandma Joe comes through and starts talking to us tonight, you know, because I really missed her since she died of an aneurysm, you know. And so that's how you get, you know, you do the branching out if you don't get a lot of specific information. But ever since I was diagnosed with this, it's just really been getting me down. And that's exactly how they do it. And Red Lights shows you it gets a little more, it's a little more modern, but same results.
It's pretty sick.
They just didn't text them to somebody.
It's really sick when you see how all these psychics acts and stuff like that. This is one of the reasons why, like, look, I'm sorry. I'm one of these people. I don't believe in psychics in any way, shape, or form. I think the vast majority of them are just trying to swindle people.
I believe that the people who have gifts are the ones that are not out there exploiting people.
That's actually what I was about to say right there. Yeah, there are people. I believe there are people with gifts, and they're not exploiting people. But then you have we've dealt with psychics before.
We've had 3 on our network that were all assholes.
All of them were swindlers, and as we all were like, get out of here.
I only personally know 2 that I truly like stand behind out of the probably thousands or more that I've run across in my time. Yeah.
But you have to look at this stuff. Everything here, when it comes to like listening to people or doing this or that, is it factual or is it anecdotal?
Right.
Well, I mean,
that's how I see it.
It's that whole thing, like you said, John Edwards. I feel like there's somebody in your life with the name that starts with a J. Of course. Of fucking course, there's somebody in my life with the name that starts with a J.
Yeah, it's not
like,
hard.
No.
Be like, no, I don't know anybody with that name.
I had a psychic, a young gal who was apparently working on getting her thing going on in Vegas, and approached me on the floor in a casino and was just like, would you like me to do a reading on you? I can do your palm and, you know, get it full going on. I'm like, honey, you just don't even want to get inside my head.
Yeah,
that would hurt you. So no.
Oh, if you've ever seen the episode of Rick and Morty with the death crystals,
yeah,
that is perfect. That perfectly describes like reading cards and all this other stuff. It's like, okay, you might be accurate for this second right here, but the next second you're going to make a choice that changes everything.
Yeah.
So
that's what people don't understand about readings is like, this is what will happen if everything goes exactly as you're doing it now. I've told you possible consequences. Therefore, if you alter your behavior to try to avoid those possible consequences, you're probably going to avoid them.
Yeah.
Because it splits like, the pants. Every pant leg branches off to another direction.
People like deeply believe in it. Though. Like again, this goes back into Jim Jones. Obviously, like that kind of personality, that kind of just ability to lead people. I mean, you can get people to believe almost anything, especially if you're good at reading people and you know the type of person you want to prey on to increase your early follower count sort of situation. So I looked a lot into this, and a lot of the early cults, they're just mostly based on people that are super naive, obviously. But then after they grow a little bit, then they start getting other people involved in the cult that are bigger names that have stronger personalities. There's sometimes money involved to get them to pretend that they're going along with the cult, get the traction they need to get out there further. So there's all these different levels of followers with different mindsets that you have to attract and move forward. And Scientology is a really interesting, like look into a lot of that. But like,
I would love to talk about them, but I feel like if we talk about the Church of Beep Boop, we might get in trouble.
Oh, I don't think we're going to get in trouble.
I just find it interesting. Like on a psychological aspect, I find all of it. What Jim Jones, a lot of the cult leaders, I'm not saying, I'm not Scientology. I'm just saying it's interesting how it's structured.
It's interesting to see how victimizers will victim, or how a victimizer will victimize people and stuff like that. It's one of the reasons why I'm so interested in serial killers and stuff like that. Because the thing you have to look at, like, you have these group of people who literally are taking on the ultimate form of freedom and saying, screw this, I don't care what society thinks, I'm gonna go kill these people over here, or I'm gonna go indoctrinate these people over here and take control of these people over here, or do whatever. It's insane to watch, but it's interesting to like read into.
I do like the psychological aspect of it. Learning about what makes them tick.
Jim Jones was like, he hit a 24 charisma. His next path was like an 18 or so in wisdom, with definitely social features. Then his intellect, and then the rest of it didn't even matter. But he also used rigged dice.
He got real lucky in the dick department too. He rolled.
I gotta say, I have learned more about Jim Jones's dick since we started doing these episodes than I think I ever knew, man. Which direction did it lean? Because I feel like this is information you might have. They took to the right or left.
Well, if you'd like to know,
here's their briefs.
So, for the record, we were talking on a side about the fact that I want locks, and the Voodoo Queen will do them for me, the ones that I want. But she was asking, are the ones with the loops that like crochet in? Excuse me. Or are they the other kind? And I was like, I'll just send you a picture. And Rainbow said, I've used the double-ended a few times.
Wow.
I have thin hair and wanted more dress.
Was the double-ended something for the cult, or?
Then it was, I read that wrong. Wrong.
I'm officially not going to.
Oh no, I don't think we read that wrong at all. It literally says, I used the double-ended a few times. No one read that wrong.
So yeah, that crossed my mind.
A lot of times this is when I would pop on and be like, you can't sit with us after dark. But instead of after dark, I'm going to try a new one. It's, you can't sit with us, but you can sit in our laps.
Yes.
Double-ended.
I just saw that and was like, what the fuck are they even talking about? Because I hadn't been following the conversation.
Can we bring up the Rainbow Twitch comment right there where she's talking about victimology?
Yes, victimology is an interesting study. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's interesting on so many different levels because there's the aspect of the person who was victimized.
Look at
how they react to it. how it has affected them as a human being, how it has actually affected their personality and who they are.
The insane thing with victimology too is the false confessions.
Yeah.
Like false confessions is a major thing, and I know we never really
Well,
officially touched upon it within in our Satanic Panic series, but a lot of them, a lot of the people, the reason why the Satanic Panic went on for so long was because when they pulled these men and women inside to interrogate them, they literally just agreed with a good portion of it agreed with the police and stuff like that, and then like come back later, they're like, I never did this. You know, why am I now? I'm in jail for 20 years.
For the record, we just said double-ended, and now we got like
10 viewers.
10 viewers. We got 6 more people in here.
6 more people are coming in.
Yeah, and with I think with some of the victimology thing too is it's easier to agree that, oh yeah, it was totally because of that, rather than saying like, yeah, I as a human being did this. No, there had to be some outside force that was making me do that. So it must have been this that was the reason, you know?
So, well, Rainbow says I was a criminal justice major and I looked into a victimology minor, and it was seriously more disturbing than criminology.
It's insane to think about. Like it's weird. It's that people are so wanting to be a part of something. Again, this is what what people like Jim Jones do is they go out and look for victims. They can find them. It's not it's not the fact that these sociopaths and narcissists don't have empathy. It's that they have empathy and are using that power for all the wrong, for very evil purposes. You know,
right? Why can't they just be like, I'm a cult? We do that. We just tell people, hey, we're a cult. You know, we're a death cult.
Well, yeah, but we don't want to control people officially, you know.
Better. But I'm just saying, if these people just said like, hey, you know, this is a cult, and if you want to live the cult lifestyle, join. I think they'd get more followers in modern day because people would be excited to join a cult to see what it's like. You know, I'm not even joking. I'm actually being serious about it. They just
nice
cult. Come on down.
I was asked a couple of months ago to help found a cult. Actually,
I think I'd be really good. That's why I changed my name to Future Cult Leader today. I think I'm going to do this, man.
Natasha says, I'm doing my criminal justice right now, working on my bachelor's. Nice. Hell yeah.
Very good.
Hell yeah.
I took some criminal justice classes. It's really fun.
It is.
Definitely.
One of my favorite classes of all time was wildlife law. It was insane.
Sounds epic.
To realize, like, did you know that the California, what are they? Not the Rangers, but the Fish and Game Wardens. California the Fish and Game Wardens can break your Fifth Amendment right. Like that is they're the only police force that do that, because they have to be able to your like fishing containers and stuff like that, your coolers and stuff like that. That is considered your property. Now they need to go in that and make sure that you're not catching too many of one type of fish or whatever. But it's insane because my wildlife law teacher was telling me this. He's all, you have to use it sparingly, but he's all, yeah, we can actually break your Fifth Amendment rights and stuff like that. We actually break the Constitution a few times. To hear him say that.
They do that in Nebraska too, though. I mean, it's not legal, but whenever somebody's fishing, it's just known that if you're coming up with a bucket of stuff, like they're gonna look to make sure.
No, not like I'm not talking about a bucket. I'm talking about a closed container, like an actual, like say, like if you put a toolbox there, and even if it has a lock on it, like they
thought you were just talking about like to make sure they weren't.
No, if they really wanted to, this is where California. I'm talking about California. Is California Fish and Game Wardens have that ability, and it's not right, but it's also the same thing. They're like, the guy was explaining to me one time. Like my teacher was, he's all, we also have to make sure that they were dealing with people with firearms and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, but
we're in California. It's hard to get that.
It's still was like, it was like, that's still their constitutional right. You guys have never had a lawsuit the entire time. He's all, not once. I was like, wow.
We just legalized non-licensed concealed carry.
I don't know why I love this phrase.
Possum cops are completely separate.
Possum cops are a completely separate kind of entity.
They are, because he was even saying, like, he's like, when regular cops walk up to you, you know, your guard goes up and everything goes up, but when Fish and Game come up to you, it's like a relax. No one. You're not expecting a fight. You're not expecting anything bad other than them to saying
Spanish
hi.
Inquisition.
Yes.
So getting back into Jonestown, I'm going to use this as a segue. Rainbow said, when you look at how many people are master manipulators, it's surprising there aren't more leaders out there. Like, and that's true.
I think there are. It just people. It's done differently, and not everyone realizes that that's what they're. I think some people do it without realizing they're doing. Like they lead people, but they're basically cult leaders without realizing that's what they're doing. But there's plenty of people in small groups, and I come across people like this all the time, even online. I mean, it's people have that mentality, but like they do it in smaller numbers.
They also tend to, when they start realizing they can't manipulate other people online, that's when they also back away and do exactly what Jim Jones and all these other cult leaders do, and start shunning them and shaming them and stuff like along those lines.
I see it on Reddit sometimes. Like you'll see the person that comments and everybody else. They get the downvoters in there, like in a lot of weird situations, man. But it's always smaller numbers because people don't notice the smaller numbers as much. Not right off the bat, anyway.
So Jones claimed to be a follower and a promoter of Branham's message during that period in the 50s, the second half of the 50s. People's Temple hosted a second International Pentecostal Convention in 1957, which was, again, headlined by Branham.
Right.
Through the conventions and the support of Branham and Matson Bowes, Jones secured connections throughout the Latter Rain movement. Jones adopted one of the Latter Rain's key doctrines, which he continued to promote for the rest of his life: the manifested sons of God.
What the fuck?
That's a whole different thing to get into.
I'd never even heard of that part of it. Yeah. But we can look at it later.
Oh yeah, I'm just bringing it up on the side.
So.
But yeah, that is a whole different. Ooh, so the manifested sons of gods, basically, it claims that they will be perfected into their glorified bodies prior to Christ's return. Their perfection will allow them to subdue the earth for Jesus. Proponents of the doctrine also claim that Christians having a divine nature become gods. And they say Christ came out into us as a seed and grows into a prophet.
Oh, they're Mormons is what you're saying.
And we got canceled.
Oh, well.
But no, I mean, there are aspects of the Mormon church that do kind of mirror what I just said.
Yeah.
So, William Branham and the Latter Rain movement promoted the belief that individuals could become, here we go, manifestations of God with supernatural gifts and superhuman abilities. They believed that such a manifestation signaled the second coming of Christ, and that people endowed with these special gifts would usher in a millennial age of heaven on earth. Jones was fascinated with the idea and adapted it to promote his own utopian ideas, and eventually the idea that he was himself a manifestation of God. By the late 60s, Jones came to teach that he was a manifestation of Christ the Revolution.
The crazy thing is, at this time, Jim Jones was, he was a hardcore atheist. It was really just him learning manipulation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, Branham was a major influence on Jones, who subsequently adopted elements of Branham's methods, doctrines, and his styles. Like Branham, Jones would later claim to be the return of Elijah the prophet, the voice of God, a manifestation of Christ, and promote the belief that the end of the world was imminent, as most of those do.
Don't ever put an expiration date on your cult, though. Just say it's imminent. Yeah. That's all you need to say.
What was the Japanese one?
I
can't think of their name right now.
Not Asahari. I can't think of his name.
But yeah.
But well, they didn't put a
they did put a date. They said that the world was going to end in 95.
They were going out and killing people regardless. So they were responsible for the sarin gas attacks on the Japanese subways and stuff like that. But Jim Jones, the funny thing is the Methodist Church actually did originally put an expiration date on theirs back in the in like the 1800s. It's ironic that he was a Methodist for a while and became a cult. Sorry.
I'll go through two of these comments. In Indiana, possum cops can come in your house looking for game without a warrant. And then Natasha says, I'm a preacher's grandchild. God is a selfish God. How does that work? How does this work? Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, if God is everything, then
that's the thing. In the Bible, it basically states that he is selfish, but in a good way, if that makes sense. So,
depending
jealous. God is a jealous
God. Yeah.
Yeah.
But this idea of we're going to become God too is not part of what would be in the actual Christian religion.
I've seen it argued, and I don't know how well it was argued because there's so many different versions of the Bible.
True.
And exact translations and stuff.
I only read the
unless
Holly
you
Bible.
speak fucking Aramaic or something. And you make sure that there wasn't a bit of fly poop that changed the word.
Right.
Wait,
yeah, but that it was God was it that his saying that he was a jealous God, thou shalt worship no other gods before me, in that he was stating that other gods exist, but you should keep him up on top. So it was like him saying that is proof that there are other gods.
Look, there's a lot of them out there, but I ain't your side.
Pagan, so
that's kind of what's going on there.
But
yeah.
There was Smitey God, and then there was like, oh, just killed my son. I guess we'll like hang out together now and be less Smitey God.
And then there was Buddy Christ.
Teaching us to fall out of fear. And then, Buddy Christ. For the record, guys, we don't usually get into religious debates or saying any negative things about other religions, which we're still not. When we make comments about religion, it's in reference or like in line with what we are talking about. I just figured I'd put that out there again.
Sometimes
I'm absolutely not anti any religion.
Oh yeah, no, that's not. Yeah, I was just making sure to clarify that people don't think like that any of us are talking negatively about it, which we're not.
I don't believe in religions.
They believe in you.
I'm sure they do. They definitely believe in me and my money.
Personal experience comes into play in the chat as well. Definitely.
Yeah.
And guys, this does not mean you guys cannot discuss on the side. But if we don't if we don't bring some of these things up, sorry. But this isn't, you guys could say anything that you want. We are very anti-censorship.
Yeah, speak your mind.
Speak your mind, and even if we don't agree with it, we still encourage you to speak with you. Speak your mind.
What it comes from me,
it doesn't bother us
with religion and stuff like that. It's growing up. Like I grew up agnostic. My family all was agnostic. I've never think I've been to church maybe maybe probably at the most maybe 10 times in my entire life, and I was never even by my parents, and they never went out of their way to be like, oh, there's God and this and stuff like that. It was like, no, we're not even discussing religion. I never had a discussion of religion with my parents ever, not once.
I'm the opposite. And I went to pretty much churches my entire life.
So
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
I didn't mean to.
Growing up that way, and then reading stuff about Jim Jones and reading stuff about all these other religions and seeing things from the outside where I wasn't personally put into it, where I was either going to be completely indoctrinated or hate whatever religion it was when I got out of it. It was actually a neat experience for me as a teenager, because I actually really got to, I'm saying for myself, I got to choose. It was almost like I got to choose my own path. You know, when I finally got to an age where I understood, and mind you, I mean this, like, when it was probably about 20, 23, 20, between 23 and 26, when I actually realized, when I matured and was like, I just don't like religion. I mean, I'm fine with people wanting to believe what they want to believe. You want to be a Christian, you want to do this or whatever, have at it. Just don't put it in my face, because I'm not very happy when you do that.
I
Like
was
what
raised in
happened
the middle of a
talking
lot of different religions, like a lot of like strong family religions, and told, "Hey, you're gonna find your path, and when you do, that's cool. We'll talk about it." But I had like very Christian, very Catholic, very I had Druid, a lot of shamanism in my family, Strega, and everybody was just like, we have our own beliefs, but
You say Strega?
yeah, you get to learn kind of from everybody, kind
Like
of a little bit about
the Italian witchcraft Strega?
and yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
We had a lot of different practitioners in my family, and it was just you get a chance to learn a little bit from everybody, and when you find your path, we're gonna celebrate the fact that you find your path. It doesn't matter what that path is.
One of the things, a lot of people need to understand, even like say when you're talking about like modern paganism and stuff like that or whatever, it is actually brought to people by through a Christian lens and stuff, because
A lot of it is.
like Odinism and stuff like that, or like the Norse pantheon, all that was transcribed by a monk, and they were lucky enough to like to find certain things after the what was it called again?
Futhark.
No, not the Futhark. That's the whatever. I'm talking about the poetic Eddas and stuff like
Oh,
that.
the Eddas. Yeah.
Through a
like
fire from what this monk wrote down. It was like the vast majority of. I mean, I know if you look at Christianity, it is actually very influenced by the Greek pantheon, because that's how it's set up. You have your one god above everyone else, and then all the angels who have all their specific not destination, but whatever they can do and stuff like that. But it's the vast majority of pagan religions and stuff like that right now, or pagan beliefs, it's all through a Christian lens. And I'm just saying, like, I've seen a lot of them end up acting, even though they'll come out and say how much they don't like Christianity or whatever, they end up acting just like them because of that.
I'm of the firm belief that every religion is right about one major thing, and that's a puzzle piece. And it's
Yeah.
really cool to learn from all the different religions and see different
I was
beliefs.
gonna say that.
Yeah, because you got all these little pieces, you can slowly kind of start understanding like the world around you a little, like in interesting ways.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me that it seems that the majority of religions have a lot of the same basic themes, and you've got the person that's up here, whether there's multiple deities or not within it, there's still the one head guy, head honcho. There's always something to do with their offspring.
Mhm.
And then there's always some kind of like message to mankind through it.
Yeah.
Personally, I like the whole, if you gotta fight, fucking fight. But that's just me.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go through a couple comments real fast and then get right back into it. So
I think we scroll out enough here. We have
Yeah.
like 10 minutes left of the episode.
That's fine. Calvin said my grandfather was a Southern Baptist minister. Woo. And Natasha said, so was mine. Natasha also says, I understand. I learned so much about LDS and FLDS.
What's
It's
FLDS
so
again?
freaking interesting. Well,
Fluid Latter-day Saints, they're fluid.
there is quite a difference. Yeah, and Jenny says, I don't force the talk of religion with my kids. I will answer questions. Cass recently asked what the crosses on Martha's wall mean, so we talked about the meaning.
It was sniper hairs.
We did.
I'm just kidding.
We did.
It was them looking through their scope on their sniper rifle. I'm just kidding.
I do want to point out, like, it just something I just went through out real quick. It's a minor plug. Jenny, I can't talk today. Jenny is always out there, like, just promoting us and everyone else. And
She's rad.
I've been talking a lot about it, but she has a poetry book that's coming out tomorrow called State of Mind through Fake Or Publishing.
Yeah,
make
check
sure
it out.
we love Jenny. Thank you.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Quick question while we're on a slight pause. My thing tonight is I love drinking with Jim Jones, and there's a reason, or I like drinking with Jim Jones. There's a reason behind that. There's a song that I have heard once on a radio station, and the chorus to it was, I like drinking with Jim Jones. He's your friend to the bitter end.
The bitter
and bitter end. So cyanide, if anybody out there has heard this song, I will buy us both albums if you can link me up to it or gift you books or something. Because Raz has been helping me search. It's not on Google. Like, we have been looking everywhere trying to find the song.
I imagine this is one of the things that
it might have been like a local group on the local radio station that I'll never find. But if you know this song, I like drinking with Jim Jones. He's your friend to the bitter end. Let me know.
This is probably one of the things. It's crazy with Google because they won't wash Google of Gigi Allen and stuff like that, but they won't.
Yeah,
they'll sponge that off Google and stuff like that. You probably need to like use another search engine to look it up.
Potentially, but seriously, I've been looking for this for like a decade. So
I think this is gonna be this Jim Jones squirrel episode. We'll probably get back into it more in the next episode.
You know what's funny? Is the first one came up with that band Skinned.
Yeah.
Because they have a song called Jim Jones.
Yeah.
The second search came up with Wine, Beer, and Whiskey Radio Edit by Little Big Town.
Okay.
I also want to give you guys, if you happen to be watching and you're going to be here for the next show, check this out because there's 278, I believe, of the files just between 77 and 78. This is everything the FBI has collected and they've now released to the public. So if you want to do some homework, there you go.
And yes, fundamentalist.
Yeah, I saw that.
And yeah, they're the ones that are more based out of Utah.
But that is insane that
directly
that they are so in your face about it. They're like, not only we are LDS, but we are fundamentalist LDS. Yeah. That's scary to think about. I mean, like this, that's like me with black metal. Like, I am very in your face when it comes to black metal and stuff like that. Like this, if you see me walking around and stuff like that, it's always black jeans, black shirt, whatever, upside down, like crosses or whatever, or you see like
St. Peter's cross.
Like a conqueror with his women and stuff like this on my shirts. But for that to be transferred over to the logic of a religious group, to be like, we're fundamentalists, like, wow.
I actually really enjoy entertaining members of the LDS. I have elders. They're actually no longer allowed to come to my apartment. I've been blacklisted by LDS for the elders to come and visit. And it's not because I'm against them. It's because I sit and I chat with them. And I refuse to get baptized because I am not going to be putting their God first and doing everything. And therefore it would be disrespectful, in my opinion, for me to go to the church and perform an act that to them has meaning, but to me isn't as meaningful. But I used to entertain the elders all the time. It would be like, oh, you're in Lincoln, hang out, let's just chat. And I went through and I've read the books and stuff. But yeah, when they refuse, they won't let it.
They stopped showing up at my house for other reasons.
I got blacklisted from the LDS church because there's so many Mormons in my choir in high school, and they all hated their fathers, and they just saw a guy with his pants tucked into his 20-eyed docks, his pant legs, and they were like, he's gonna help me get back at my father. And then when I met their father, they really liked me.
So let's at least finish this one.
Yeah.
There's just one section.
This one area, please.
Sorry.
So,
well, this helps us actually move it into 3 episodes because I really, on the next episode, we will be getting playing a lot of portions of the death tapes.
So by the late 60s, Jones came to teach that he was a manifestation of Christ the Revolution. So Brenham was a major influence on Jones, who subsequently adopted the elements of his methods, doctrines, and styles. Like Brenham, Jones would later claim to be the return of Elijah the prophet, the voice of God, a manifestation of Christ, and promote the belief that in the end the end of the world was imminent. He learned some of his most successful recruitment tactics from Brenham. Jones eventually separated from the Latter Rain movement following a bitter disagreement with Branham, in which Jones prophesied Branham's death. Their disagreement was possibly related to Branham's racial teachings or Branham's increasingly vocal opposition to communism.
Now, the crazy thing is he was willing to stay around and learn his techniques until he learned them, and then now he was like, oh my god, race and all this other stuff, you have to get away from me because you're a racist piece of shit. But you were there prior to that, learning everything you can from him.
All right. So there's so much more. We're probably gonna end up with 4 episodes, to be honest. Next week we get into it is
Father Divine.
No. Next week we're gonna get into the Peace Mission movement. And Father Divine. Disciples of Christ, racial integration, that kind of next show, not next week.
Next show is actually going to be a pretty long one because we're probably going to wrap everything up on the next show, and
it'll be pretty long.
Like I said, we're also going to get into the death tapes, play stuff like play the death tapes, and really get into his abuse of his people and stuff like that.
Basically, come for the death tapes, stay for the flavor parade.
And all of the fun things that go along with how he perfected the cult manipulation, how to integrate people. The way that Jonestown was pulled off was a masterpiece.
It's
I like I've said in the previous episode, I can't get those screams out of my head. So you guys, we understand if you don't stay to listen to that.
No.
We will put up trigger.
We actually need you guys to stay and listen to this. This is.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Actually, thinking about it right now, we pretty much did cover the People's Temple on this episode, about, even though we scrolled out, but we
talked about it.
So, there is a surprise coming up, not tomorrow, but next Friday. Roots Bleed Red will have some guest hosts.
Might as well just say it
with us. We're gonna have Prometheus and Amelia just helping us with whatever topic they choose. We have given them artistic freedom as far as
not autistic freedom. Sorry.
What the fuck?
We just gave them autistic freedom.
You're getting armpit hair tonight, dude.
You are.
I wear shorts. I wear my shirt to the bed.
She's got a razor. You know how quick you can cut a shirt off when someone's asleep? I mean,
she won't cut my shirts up.
We've actually done an episode on Waco. We've actually done it a few times now.
Waco was a few years ago, but that might be something we can read.
For my time.
Waxing. I'm a man-o-lantern.
Wait, which was
Wow.
All right. So
we're gonna have Prometheus and Amelia on next week.
Their humans will probably be on.
Their humans are gonna be on.
They're sexy.
They're sexy. Their sexiness.
We have shirts.
Didn't you say Natasha was sending this info too? Natasha?
Yes. So
I'm hoping to have Natasha on Roots Bleed Red too.
We were going to ask you. When we do cover those Colorado serial killers, would you like to join us?
Yeah. We're doing show prep right now.
But Jim Jones wants you to come. Jim Jones wants you on the show.
We're not doing phrasing anymore. Seriously.
I just learned that phrase the other night on our show, where we did not do phrasing well at all.
At all.
A man-o-lantern? You don't know what a man-o-lantern is?
Type it into the internet. Just shave a smiley face.
No, just do an internet search. I want him to do it. I want him to be.
No, you need the man-o-lantern internet search.
Yeah, you really need a picture to understand it. I'm on this one. I'm telling you.
The fact that he did it for real, the fact that he totally did it for real, made it that much better.
Oh, you're talking about 40-year-old virgin?
Yes.
Yeah. That actually was not planned at all. The waxing.
Hi.
They did that out of nowhere in that movie.
That was real blood.
That was real blood. That was his real reaction. Steve Carell or whatever. That was his real reactions. He did not know he was getting waxed, and he thought they were gonna do the entire thing.
He just did his nipples,
and he got fed up. And he's like, "No, I'm done." And that was really him getting pissed and walking away.
That
gotta go watch that now.
we were talking about when we were with the SAS things, like if you reach this many votes type of thing. And I'd mentioned, and everybody was like kind of confused, but I was like, you have to do the car wax thing, and there's this lady who like put all the wax. For those of you who don't know, when you wax, you put on a layer of wax, and then you put on a strip that will then adhere to the wax. And then when it cools down, you rip it off. Yeah. Well, this lady put her strips on. She was doing a bikini wax.
Yes.
And she put her strips on, and then she went up to the back of this car and adhered the strips to the bumper of the car and had them like peel out. Yeah, and she's just like,
what?
Okay,
let's
do it again.
It wasn't Jackass, was it? It was something else.
No, it was just the thing.
No, it was CKY. It was CKY. It was Jackass before it was. It was CKY. I remember seeing that. Yeah, it was one of the CKY tapes. You can actually find it.
Awesome, Jenny. Yeah, but yeah, it's just you're just like, oh my god, because she's just like, ow. Okay, let's do it again. To the other side.
The funny thing was when they went to look at the car, it was like literally, it almost looked like it ripped off her vagina lips. But it didn't. It was just
put it in gear and go.
Well, okay, I gotta admit, sometimes I love my own squirreling, even though I have a squirrel puppet.
Oh, I will tell you guys my squirrel moment that made me laugh for the last hour of work when we are done.
Yeah, what if your body here was so strong you didn't get drugged by the car? What are they dragging you by? My pubes are made of iron.
I don't know.
I'm Sicilian, so it might happen.
Yeah. We call that the Ironwood Forest.
Okay. All right. Thank you guys so very much. We will continue this backstage. And have a wonderful night, guys. Flash warning.
Bye.